Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. That's right, you all thought we were done, but we're back. I thought, now that I've completed a 62 win streak, using random characters with random weapons, and won with every character in the game on Abyssal Terrors, what could be better than 62 wins in a row? 134 wins in a row. So we're going to play every character on Crash Zone with random weapons and see if we can go for the full 134 win streak with every character on every map. Let's roll and see what we get, and we'll just jump right back into it. Alright, we've got the Artificer. Artificer's a super fun character, of course. I'm gonna just take whatever weapon we roll here. I did actually lose with Shredder in my original random series way back in the day. But let's see what we get and we'll play around it. All right, we've got Plank. This is probably the best weapon for Artificer, though typically you'll want to trade Plank for another weapon at some point. But the great thing about it is that you can get additional damage scaling from elemental damage, and that also increases the explosion size. Plank needs kind of additional explosion size in order to function, otherwise this weapon is relatively weak. So with that ability to buy elemental damage and increase the size of the explosions with the Artificer passive, you get a huge buff. I'm going to roll here and roll again. I'm looking for harvesting, but I'll just take 5 attack speed. This attack speed is the stat that scales the most with Plank, so we're basically just going to build elemental damage and attack speed in order to make our planks as good as possible. Even though we have plus 75% damage already, so how the explosion damage for Artificer works is this 175 boost is additive with the minus 100, so we basically are playing a character with plus 75% damage, so it's a little less valuable to buy the dynamite here, but it's still 15% damage for 23 on all of our weapons and on all our other explosions that we might get, so we're definitely going to buy it. I'm going to roll here. I'm going to roll past the penguin. We will want regen eventually, but I'd like to keep that slot open for some kind of economy item, like this bag, for example, and then we'll take another plank, and then we'll roll and roll again, and buy another plank. One of the great things also is that elemental damage scales the damage of our planks, and also gives us additional explosion size, because as we get the plank upgrade, we get more explosion size from the explosive weapon tag, and more explosion size from the elemental weapon tag, because we're playing the Artificer. I haven't played on Crash Zone in a really long time, so I'm kind of remembering what all the waves are like, because I've been doing the random series on Abyssal Terrors. So trying to remember exactly what all of the things look like is going to take me a minute, and I may run into some enemies and die in ways that I wouldn't have if I were more practiced on this map currently. I could take elemental damage, but I still want to get my harvesting going, so we're just going to do that, and then we'll take another plank, and we'll roll, and buy another plank. Plank's a fairly, it's like a middle price weapon. It's not the most expensive, but not the cheapest either, so getting 5 in the first 2 waves is kind of the high end of what you expect, so we're pretty happy with this. The main challenge for the Artificer, of course, is that the lost armor is a challenge defensively. But armor is less critical on Crash Zone than it is on Abyssal Terrors, because enemies typically do less damage. They're a little harder to dodge sometimes, because there's way more of these chargers, so you're going to take a little more chip damage, but you can usually get away with building more max HP and more just like dodge and max HP to sort of mitigate the damage you're taking, rather than having to build armor and regeneration. So we have a little more leeway in what defensive setup we use than we do on the other map. I'm going to keep rolling here for harvesting, but I'll take 1 armor. It's halved, so it's only 1, but we need to buy all the armor that we can find, and I'll take 15 luck as well. I would, of course, really love to build more harvesting, but 15 luck is a great economy stat to get early, so we're very happy with that. We'll take the bag here. Works well with the luck that we just got. I'm going to pass on the gambling token. We could build dodge, but I think it's a little early to invest in that. I'll take half an armor. I'll take some max HP, and I'll do 1 more reroll to see if we can lock a plank, because we are still guaranteed to see 1 weapon. Really feels like we're exiting the like hyper time chamber, having trained in the increased gravity of abyssal terrors, or I guess increased pressure because it's the bottom of the ocean, and are now back to playing Crash Zone. There's some interesting discussions between players who believe that Abyssal Terrors is harder and players who believe that Crash Zone is harder. I've seen on the Discord and on the Reddit, a lot of players, including players who are very experienced, believe that Crash Zone is the harder map. I don't think that's the case, but I'm very interested to see if I'm wrong about that and that maybe we struggle more on this map. I did take a bunch of damage there. That's fine, though. I'll take the Claw Tree. Crit chance is fine for this character, and of course, we do get melee damage scaling. Let's roll here. I could just take 2 elemental damage for more explosions. I could take 2 armor, but I think I'm going to roll again and see if we can find more harvesting. I missed, but I'll take 10% attack speed. Attack speed is still the stat that scales planks the best because it's just a very slow attacking weapon, so we do want to make sure that we're getting that. We'll take Propeller Hat, we'll buy all of these defensive items, and we'll roll. Very happy with the Fertilizer. We're going to take the Snowball, because of course we want a lot of elemental damage, and we need to give the Snowball a chance to disappoint us, as usual. This is a very early Snowball. I'll be very interested to see how much elemental damage we get out of it. Artificer does have the problem, of course, of just having weak defenses, so we are going to need to deal with that as we level up. Finding HP and armor from our level ups is going to be really important. The other thing is that because we have minus 100% damage, even though we're building elemental damage, we can't effectively use burning, and we can't use things like Baby Elephant or Cyberball, other non-weapon sources of damage. Only explosions, so landmines work, and Spicy Sauce works, Rip and Tear works, that kind of thing, and of course any weapon with the explosive tag, like these planks. Very happy to grab this harvesting. That combined with the fertilizer we have locked will make our harvesting as high as we need it. We'll hit the 21 mark, and then I'm going to take 9 speed. This boosts our movement speed back to positive, which is perfect. Take the fertilizer, going up to 24 harvesting, and then a snowball and a propeller hat, and we'll do a reroll here. I'll take the landmines. So I think that landmines are a little bit overrated on the Artificer. The explosion size is nice, but the explosion damage actually doesn't help that much. But I do think they're worth taking, especially because we have Horde Waves, so they can help clear those. Even though we only lose half an armor, and both range and attack speed are good for this character, I still don't think you want to take Gummy Berserker. Armor's just too valuable, so you usually want to make sure that you're buying it. Even on a character with reduced armor gains, you still want to make sure that you're buying as much armor as you can. Artificer's just such a fun run because everything starts exploding really quick. Especially now that we've got our economy online, we can just build elemental damage, get these huge explosions. Normally, of course, the goal with Artificer is you use Plank, but you're hoping to find something like Rocket Launcher or Nuclear Launcher. Obviously, we're not allowed to do that on this run because we're doing a random weapon challenge, but usually you would be looking to change to a higher tier explosive weapon later on. It's one of the great things about planks is that you have access to that. It's hard keeping track of those loot aliens. Our weapons scale with engineering. We get 50% engineering scaling, so this will boost it to 70%. So suddenly buying engineering is a lot more enticing, and Plank scales with 3 different damage types. Usually that's not a huge advantage, because usually it just means you have melee damage scale. You have weak melee damage scaling with 50% that scales up to higher at higher level planks, but you start with only 50% melee damage scaling. Usually that's a huge disadvantage because you still just have to buy melee damage to boost the damage of planks. But this character benefits from elemental damage because it increases our explosion size. And now that we have the nail, suddenly engineering is also a much more interesting prospect. Unfortunately, I don't think I can support the blood donation here. We do have 35 luck, which is good for healing from consumables, but 0 regen, and I don't have any regeneration locked in the shop, so as much as I would love to take the blood donation, it would probably kill us. I I'd need to not take hits, and I think the next wave is 45 seconds. I can't remember. But I think we just have to recycle this. I'm going to take 2 armor here, which is actually 1 armor. And then we are going to upgrade our planks up to 60% damage scaling off of melee, elemental, and engineering, and then 80% off engineering because of the nail. We're going to take a fuel tank because we want elemental damage to boost our explosion size, because that's how Artificer works. And also, we've got the snowball, so elemental damage is even better. Yes, we lose 1 melee damage, which costs us some damage on all our weapons, but it's very much worth it. We're also going to buy both of these. My max HP was quite low, so I want to buy the acid here, and I'm going to roll. We'll take the plank. We'll definitely pick up Gentle Alien. Padding, 78 for 3 HP, I think we can pass on. We're not that desperate for max HP yet. This wave, we should be able to let the eggs hatch mostly because our damage is relatively high since we have the nail and everything. And then also, we don't lose a lot of clear speed when we're killing the big slashers because we still hit other stuff across the map. So I'm going to let them hatch and make a little more money off of killing the slashers. Of course, it's worth 4 materials when you kill the slasher and only 1 if you kill the egg, so usually worth it. And yeah, because I took that hit there, obviously I'd have tried harder not to, but having taken that hit, we would definitely have died if I had bought the blood donation. Here, I could take 2 elemental damage or 3 regen, but I think attack speed is still the best for us. And then I could take melee damage or engineering. 6 melee damage at 60% scaling is better than 4 melee damage at 80%. I could also take some percentage damage, but we've got effectively, we have 190 minus 105, so we've effectively 85% damage. We don't need it as badly. I'm actually going to roll here and look for armor or regen. Could take elemental damage as well, just for more explosions, but I'm just going to take 9 max HP. Just making sure that we have the health to survive is going to be the most important thing, I think. Keep upgrading our planks, buy a Gentle Alien. Of course, as an explosive build, we're very happy with increased enemy spawns, and we'll take a coffee. A roll here. With 35 luck, I think I am going to invest in the pearl, but I'm going to buy... no, I'll take the pearl first. This blood donation, I could lock it. So if I find enough regeneration to support it, then blood donation will be really good. So I think I'm going to lock it. We'll lock the plank. Because I'm locking the blood donation, I'll also lock Alien Worm, because that is 2 regen. If I find like a plant and 1 regen upgrade, we'll be able to buy blood donation, I think. And 40 harvesting for 92 is still an incredible deal, so buying blood donation is still going to be worth it if we can support it. Also, I guess next wave is our farming wave, and of course wave 9 on Crash Zone is great, so we should make a lot of money next wave. This wave is pretty tough because we've got these big chargers and the large armored chargers, so there's a lot of enemies that we have to dodge. Wave 8 is definitely one of the problem waves on Crash Zone. All the extra attack speed that I've invested in is very helpful for keeping us alive here. Trying to remember how to move to dodge these enemies, too. It's more challenging than because I'm out of practice at it. So I'm giving up some materials here because of bad movement, because I don't remember exactly how to play this map. Celery tea. Doubling enemy health is pretty bad. But Wave 9 has a lot of low health enemies. I think we will still kill them quite quickly, and then we'll get a lot of extra XP next wave, so I'm going to take that. Oh wow, we got a free pearl. I wasn't expecting that, but that's great. And then here, I'm going to take the... No, I'm going to roll because I'm looking for regen, but I should just take armor. I think we're not going to buy the blood donation. I bought the celery tea as kind of a dangerous economy item already. So I think we're going to buy the plank and the dangerous bunny, and we'll roll past both of these and instantly find some regen, which is good. Do I want the schmoop for this wave, or do I want fishhook for this wave? I think I'll take fishhook and recycling machine, lock the schmoop for the fishhook, roll, and then we'll lock the metal plate, and we'll lock mutation for more elemental damage, and we can maybe get another damage off our snowball. So we're going to play this one a little bit safer than if I buy the blood donation, but we just didn't have the regen to support it. I think it was worth locking it for one wave to see if we could get that regen, but given the shops that we found and the fact that we bought celery tea as a kind of risky economy item already, better just to make sure that we're also improving the strength of the character. Wave 9 with Plank, of course, should be excellent for us, but we do have these big chargers to deal with, so we have to hope to kill some of those. Gonna try to kill the Curse aliens as well. Curse still good on Crash Zone. It really feels it's so nice to play Crash Zone's Wave 9 again. It's just so much fun to kill all of these enemies. Just exploding everything here. Unfortunately, I am giving up some materials. This is because of the celery tea, because I took a lot of hits. It's very hard not to take hits when enemies have double health. So I did give up some materials as a result of that, but that's okay. We'll take the treasure map for sure. Bat, I'm going to recycle. So I'm glad I have the recycling machine. I don't really need lifesteal at all on this build, and we'll take cake as well. Here I could take elemental damage. I'm going to roll, though. I really need... I guess I'll take 50 in luck. I really need some regeneration, though. I'm going to roll again, and I guess take more armor. We really have not been offered any healing this run so far. No... Very little regen, very little lifesteal, no consumable healing. So that is the one thing that is giving us some trouble. The Schmoop is a big help with that, though. Just gives us max HP and regen, gets our regen started. We'll buy 2 armor here. We'll buy 2 elemental damage, excuse me. Lost Duck we can't afford to take because I don't want to reduce my elemental damage at all. I'm going to roll again. Cursed Beanie, that's great. Sunken Bell, that could actually keep us alive. I think I will buy that, but I'm going to buy these 2 items first and then roll. We will lock a Gentle Alien. Eye Surgery I'll buy because it's 2 elemental damage. 2 elemental damage for 123 is not amazing, but it is worth buying. And if we get it cursed, it's even better. Glass Cannon, I think we can pass on. The main thing that we need for this build right now is just defensive stats. So regen, armor, dodge, max HP, whatever. Because our damage is fine at this point, so I'm not going to take Glass Cannon. This is especially true because we have 2 Horde waves as our first 2 boss waves. So we don't have to deal with early elite, which we would maybe need high damage for. But our planks should be... The damage we have on our planks should be plenty to clear the Horde waves, because we just need enough damage to blow up all the weak enemies that we're going to be facing. You can get away with lower healing for longer on Crash Zone, because you're less likely to take huge hits, though I probably need to build a little more defensively for the first few of these runs, because my movement isn't going to be good, so I'm going to take more hits than I will once I'm practiced at dodging these enemies again. Making great money, though, so I'm very happy with that. Although crit chance is pretty good, Plank does have 2x crit damage, so you can build crit chance and have it be effective. I do want more move speed, and the engineering is still really good for this build, so we'll take that. I'm going to take attack speed before we go into the Horde wave, and then here, I could take dodge. I don't really need more harvesting. I'm going to re-roll this. I could take armor, but I'm really looking for just regeneration. Attack speed is also really good, so we'll just buy that. Cute Monkey, this is a great way to heal. I'm going to buy this entire shop. Even though none of it got cursed, I think that's fine. Plastic Explosive, of course, we'll still buy. What of these do I want to try to curse? I think we're going to try to curse Plastic Explosive, because if we get the level 3 item cursed, that's more valuable than cursing the lower level items. So I'm going to buy both of those. I'm going to pass on the Coral, even though we need some regen. I just really don't like doing the stutter step thing that you have to do for Coral, so I'm going to make the executive decision to pass on it. And I'll lock Tardigrade, because cursed Tardigrade is pretty good, even if normal Tardigrade we won't buy. So unless that gets cursed, we won't buy it, but if it does, we will be happy to. We did get some cursed rib cages, so we have to have the Wave 11 DPS check on Crash Zone. Can we kill these rib cages or knock them away? or survive taking hits from them. This is the first real test on this map, is can you survive these rib cages? Because since they get faster, the longer they're on the field, if you don't have knockback or some way to deal with them by pushing them away, or the damage to kill them, then you'll just die deterministically, because they'll just chase you down and kill you. They eventually get fast enough that you can't dodge them. So you need some way to deal with the rib cages. Usually it's just a DPS check, which we're comfortably passing. It feels so good to be on wave 11 and make actual money, because on Abyssal Terrors, when you're on wave 11 through like 18, there's so few enemies on the map. It's just a small number of really high health enemies. You just don't make any money on those waves. So on Crash Zone, you get a little more smooth. You get smoother income throughout the later waves. You continue to get money, which is why I'm much less fussed about low harvesting. On Abyssal Terrors, I would have kept taking harvesting, but on Crash Zone, we can focus more on offensive and defensive stats, because more of our damage is going to, or more of our money is going to come from killing stuff. Take the treasure map. I will take the cursed items. We can afford all of it, so we'll buy all of it. Roll here. I'm going to lock a plank, gentle alien, and fuel tank, and we'll do a quick reroll. And yeah, we'd take a cursed little muscly dude. We'd take a normal one also. 3 melee damage, 5 max HP. That's pretty good for this character's weapons. Also, of course, up to 90% engineering scaling. But having 4 items locked for Fishhook is perfect. Tardigrade was the item that I cared least about getting cursed there, but it's still a useful one to have cursed. It can block 2 attacks, which does help a little bit against elites mostly. But mostly we're just buying it because it's got 3 curse on it, and we want to increase our curse. On Crash Zone as well, curse is also just very, very good. Loot alien. They're a lot harder to see, the loot aliens on Crash Zone. I like the model on Abyssal Terrors much better. Playing Artificer as your explosions start increasing in size is always just so satisfying. You just start wiping out the entire map every time you swing your weapons. Yeah, we'll take the cog for sure. More engineering is great. I'm still not going to reduce my elemental damage, even though this is worth, I guess, 1.6% damage, because we have 2 pearls, but I think I'm going to still pass that. I'll take the small fish. We'll take Scar. Even this late, Scar's quite good. Do I want to start building dodge? I think so. I think we can start building dodge. I could also just build range. On plank specifically, range is a little better than it is on other weapons, because if it hits multiple enemies, it can explode multiple times to damage the same enemy multiple times. But I think I'd rather just have the defensive stat still. Wow, the fishhook. Fishhook, you've betrayed me. 20% pity bonus on the fishhook now. I'm gonna buy all of these items anyways, and then we'll reroll. Alien tongue, I think I will take. I do now have the cute monkey, so material pickups are a little more valuable, and we're leaving a bunch of materials on the ground. We are going to pick up the compass and the dynamite as well. Banner I will lock, because increased range and attack speed, both very good for this weapon. Crown, of course, we will take. Losing 2 elemental damage for the wheat is pretty bad, but would I buy it if it was cursed, if it only costs 1 elemental damage? I could also end up with a lot of cursed tardigrades, which would be pretty nice. That could keep us alive against elites a little more easily. When you start getting these in multiples, they start getting better, because you can rely on them a little more. Would I buy a cursed wheat? I probably would, so I think I'm going to lock it here. Obviously, we'd much rather have the crown cursed, because that's just awesome. Cursed crown, of course, to be the cursed king of Brotato. But I get this question sometimes. When you have a pity bonus on Fishhook, is it better to just lock 1 item if there's one that you want cursed more than the other one, because then you guarantee that you apply the pity bonus to that item. So here's how the curse mechanics work. When you have Fishhook, what gets cursed is rolled in a random order, and the pity bonus applies until an item gets cursed. So it doesn't really change the odds of a specific item getting cursed that much, because for it not to get cursed, something else would have to happen first and successfully get cursed. So while you can very slightly increase the odds of a specific item getting cursed by not locking other stuff, if and only if you have a pity bonus, it's generally not worth it because it's just such a small amount. I'm going to recycle the knot because I hate this item, and it's worth 118, and then we're going to take 15% attack speed. I'm going to take the regen over the harvesting here, although I am buying the crown, so the harvesting's a little more exciting. The crown is less because it's good and more because it's become a meme on the channel. I'm gonna still buy the crown. We'll buy the banner, of course, and tardigrade I will buy. Now we can take 4 hits without taking damage, but a non-cursed wheat I'm not gonna buy because reducing my elemental damage would be pretty bad. Ice Cube is pretty nice for this character. It can really help kill stuff. All our damage is elemental damage because it all scales with elemental damage off the planks. I can't buy all of these. What would I want to curse? Probably the Ice Cube. So I'll buy the spicy sauce. We'll reroll. 9 regen. Do I want the weird ghost? Obviously, we're taking the cursed gentle alien. With 9 regeneration and 1 cute monkey, wave 14 is also a little bit more dangerous on Crash Zone. I don't think we need more than 70 HP, so I think we're just going to pass. We'll lock the Ice Cube and see if we get that cursed. Well, I guess I had the weird ghosts. So wave 14, of course, is the most dangerous wave on Crash Zone because of these slugs, because they summon the little goobers. And those, if you can't keep control of their numbers, are going to start just absolutely pasting the screen in projectiles. So wave 14 is the most dangerous wave on this map. I'm reminding myself as much as everyone else what this map does, but I imagine if you've just been watching my videos, then you yourself may not remember all the nuances of Crash Zone. So this Crash Zone course is probably useful for you as well as me. But wave 14 is a difficult wave, so I didn't want to buy the weird ghost on it, and we also just don't need more than 70 HP. Our max HP is fine. But I could have probably bought it because we have the tardigrades. Here, I'm going to roll for more regeneration, I think, or just more attack speed. We do have 100% attack speed, so yeah, let's just take 4 regen, because I do want enough healing that we can survive. Unfortunately, the Ice Cube not cursed, but we're still going to buy it, and then we're going to roll here. I'll take another Fishhook, that's great. We'll lock a weird food, and then I'm going to roll. Triangle of Power, I will lock, because if it gets cursed, it's awesome. And I'll lock the Tractor as well. We do have the Crown, so Tractor will still pay for itself, basically, and might give me an extra level, even if it's not cursed. But if it's cursed, it'll be excellent. Buying Tractor there is sort of like buying something like a Bean Teacher, because the level you get XP from the materials that you get from harvesting, and XP is very important even late game, because if you can hit one of the level thresholds to get one of the guaranteed high level ups, that's worth a lot of stats. So basically we're sort of taking out a loan by buying that Tractor, because we'll get the money back, but only a few waves later. So we're effectively losing a bunch of money, but we'll get an extra level out of it. So it can be worth buying those things anyways. It is interesting that you get a couple Curse Alien spawns, but so few of them compared to the Abyss. And so characters that rely on Curse are going to have a harder time on this map, for sure. Take the Dynamite, of course. A free Pearl I'm definitely happy with. And then 4 regen is exactly what we want. We'll take 15 luck. We actually have 3 Pearls now. So the amount of luck that we get, or the amount of damage that we get out of that, is actually not insignificant. We've also gotten 5 elemental damage from our snowball. It hasn't been amazing, but it's been fine. We'll take the Triangle of Power here, 33% damage. We already have two cursed tardigrades as well, so we would need to get hit 37 times before we even lose the damage buff from Triangle of Power, so this is a huge boost to our damage output. We'll take the Tractor still, we'll take Weird Food. Hedgehog I'm going to pass on, I'm going to roll here. We'll take the Jerky for sure, just more healing. And yeah, I'm going to go kind of nuts, and we'll take the Peacock as well. Then I will take Mutation, works with our Snowball, and take the Pencil, and go to the next wave. Of course, we wanted to buy Engineering because we have the Nail as well. Do have to be a little careful wave 16 because of the buffing aliens. We want to clear those as soon as possible. This is a nice run to jump back in with as well, because this is just a fun run. So, before we get some of the more difficult runs with the new classes and everything, I came very close to saying new subclasses, because of course I've been talking about those at length in Baldur's Gate videos. But before we play the Abyssal Terrors classes on Crash Zone, it's nice to have a class that with a solid weapon that we can just play on this map to good value. And to kind of learn how the map works again. Sure, we'll get that Curse Alien kill. You can see how much money we're making relative to how much you would make on Abyssal Terrors, too. We have 100 harvesting, but that would be like 300 income on Wave 16 of the Abyss, whereas it's 600 here. Yeah, we'll take 12 melee damage. It's not amazing, but the big arms are fine, I think, for 173. It's still a bunch of base damage on our weapons. I'm going to recycle the Terrified Onion. I'm going to take some more elemental damage for bigger explosions, and then I will take 1 armor over 3 regen, I think. Is that right? No, I'll take the regen. I want the healing. Anvil, even this late Anvil is pretty good. It's going to give us 2 upgrades, because we'll get the Wave 18 and Wave 19 upgrade. So for 328, yeah, two weapon upgrades is fine. We'll buy a treasure map as well. I think I'll get at least 5 crates. If we get more than 5 crates, then this will end up paying for itself. We have 65 luck. Wow, we've actually done very badly on treasure map. We have 2 of them already, right? And have only gotten 2 items. Yeah, we have two treasure maps already and only 2 bonus items. Is it right to buy treasure map? Maybe not, but treasure map's fun, so we're going to buy it anyways. And then we're going to roll here. Medical turret, this is a good way to heal, so I'm going to buy that and then roll, and we'll lock a pencil. Roll 1 more time to see if we can lock some more stuff. And honey I will buy as well, because explosion damage and explosion size are good for this character. We have negative crit chance, so unfortunately can't use the tentacle. Tentacle actually pretty good for this character in general, because, as I said, we do have double crit damage, or 2x crit damage on Plank, so you benefit from buying crit, and you benefit from items that care about critical hits as well, like Tentacle or Hunting Trophy. I like the spicy sauce explosions because they have very large base explosion size on the spicy sauce explosions, so when we set those off, we actually get a really big explosion, which is fun. The Sunken Bell that we bought hasn't done anything because I have these tardigrades and good healing and everything, and we're just killing stuff too fast for it to matter. Probably the correct pick here is the armor, but I'm just going to take the elemental damage because it's more fun to have giant explosions, and I feel like we're quite strong. We'll take the honey here, of course. The increased explosion damage and size is great, and the Kraken's Eye, that's awesome. Unfortunately, doesn't work very well with our tardigrades, so And I kind of wish that I had the blood donation. Obviously, we wouldn't have taken the triangle if we had the blood donation, but it would be really good. We'll lock the duct tape, and would I take a cursed peacock next wave? Probably not. I don't think it's going to matter, because we've already hit level 25, so we don't really need the additional XP. Took me a second to find this elite because I'm not used to their models. This is the hardest elite on Crash Zone, but we're making quick work of it because my damage is very, very high at this point. I guess because we only lose 1% damage per tick on the Triangle of Power, if we find Blood Donation or Bloody Hand, we can still buy it, have it turn off our tardigrades really fast, and then start exploding with the Kraken's Eye, which is just very fun. So I might do that if we happen to find one of the damage over time items. I'm walking into attacks deliberately because although it does reduce my damage, every time I do, there's a chance we just blow up the whole map, which is both helpful in terms of our income and very funny. So you can see how much we're just exploding the entire map with the Kraken's Eye. I'll recycle the bat here. We don't have any projectiles, so we'll recycle that. And Wisdom. I think I actually want to burst down the bosses before 30 seconds, so I'm going to recycle the Wisdom as well. We'll just take 3 armor here, and then... Nice, the fairy's pretty good. I'll take the duct tape. Given that we have all these tardigrades, I'm going to take another Triangle of Power as well. We'll take the fairy, we'll roll, take the hedgehog, cursed, we'll take corrupted shard and beanie, and then roll again. I'm going to take a plant. At this point, obviously, the tractor is not particularly attractive. And then I'm going to lock both of these and buy the baby gecko just for the regen. And maybe we get one of these cursed before we go fight the bosses. I love how much damage we do and how large the explosions are. Artificer is just such a satisfying class to play. Alright, now I need to start taking hits so we can trigger the Kraken's Eye explosion. It does cost me 3% damage every time, but it just blows up the whole map, so what does it matter if I'm losing percent damage if we're just exploding the whole map? And it's almost impossible for us to take enough hits that the triangles don't increase our damage. We would have to take so many hits for that to be the case. Butterfly, I'm not going to take because I don't want to lose elemental damage, but we'll take a metal. Eye patch will recycle. Gentle Alien will take, of course. Even this late, Gentle Alien is good for us. So this is another question I get really frequently. Why do you not buy White Flag? Why do you buy increased enemy spawns going into the boss waves? For this character, it's especially important, but for most characters, more enemies on the field makes you better at killing bosses. If you're a lifesteal build, you have more stuff to lifesteal off of. If you have consumable healing, you have more chances at dropping consumables. For this build in particular, hitting another enemy will trigger an explosion, which means we're more likely to deal damage to the bosses the more enemies there are on the field. So all of those things work together to make it way better to have more enemies on the field for us, even in the last wave of the game. I'll just take 8% damage. We're almost at positive damage. Actually, we're going to be at positive damage after I buy the focus here. So our percent damage is 26 plus our explosion damage of 270. So we effectively have plus 300% damage. Campfire, of course, we're going to grab. We'll take the helmet. I'll take another eye surgery. It's 2 more elemental damage. And then a reroll. Ooh, cursed dynamite. We got really good cursed items just through luck. These weren't even fishhook items at the end of the game here. All right, let's go to wave 20 and we'll fight the bosses. My old friends. It's good to see you again. These bosses, obviously, I'm getting hit because I'm not used to dodging them, but they're so much easier to dodge than the Abyssal Terrors bosses, because they run away and you can just sort of circle around them. All right, well, that was a blast to play, pun very much intended. Let's take a look at our items. The dynamites, of course, were awesome. Getting to 24 harvesting early was good, so glad we found the fertilizer. Let's check this snowball. 8 elemental damage from snowball. Pretty good. Still kind of underwhelming, even though we got it really early and bought a ton of elemental damage. Obviously, 8 is really good. I'm not saying it didn't pay for itself, but I really want this item to snowball, to feel really good. So I don't know what needs to change. The most common suggestion that I see is make it work off level ups as well, so it can give you like 20 elemental damage. Maybe that would be too powerful. But maybe if it gave you 1.5 elemental damage, or maybe if it gave you 1, but then also like 1% explosion size, so that or you know, extra burning duration or something every 5 elemental damage it gave you. Something fun that would work with the theme of the item. Sorry, I just like lost track of what I was saying there. Something really fun that would work with the theme of the item and let you actually snowball and get stronger over the course of the game. The nail was quite good. We ended up with 21 engineering, so made all our weapons hit that much harder. Landmines dealt 36k, not bad at all. 5 gentle aliens was amazing. We actually got a free pearl, which is great. 177 saved on Dangerous Bunny. Dangerous Bunny is better, as are pretty much all items that, like Piggy Bank, Dangerous Bunny, Spyglass, are better on Crash Zone because it's a higher economy map. So these items that save you money as you spend money are better because they save you more money on this map. The fish hooks were doing great. 450 on the recycling machines. Ended up with 5 items off the treasure map. Not horrible. 44 healing on the cute monkey, 59 harvesting from the crown. What else? 25k damage on the spicy sauce. And of course, Anvil upgraded our weapons a little bit. Only 13k damage on the Kraken's Eye, but it was really fun that it explodes for 2500 damage every time we got hit. And yeah, the triangles and everything worked out really well. All right, my friends, hope you've enjoyed this return to Crash Zone, and I hope that you are looking forward to seeing if we can make the full 134 win streak. I don't know if we'll manage it, but I didn't think we would make 62, so having done that, I'm a little more optimistic. We'll see if we can get there. As always, my friends, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment, hit like, helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, friends. I'll catch you next time.